Devi Mahatamyam Parayan. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri. So today we'll be continuing the third episode, Meditation on Mahasaraswati. Wielding in her lotus hands the bell, trident, plowshare, conch, pestle, discus, bow and arrow, her luster is like that of a moon shining in autumn sky. She is born from the body of Gauri and is the sustaining base of the three worlds. That Mahasaraswati I worship here, who destroyed Shumba and other Asuras. So today we'll be starting the 12th chapter, but before that I will do a quick recap of the demons that the goddess killed yesterday. That was about she killing the great Asuras, Shumba and Nishumba. Now, who is Shumba and Nishumba? I said Shumba is the strength in the evil doings and Nishumba is the pride in that evil doings. Now, what had happened? Shumba and Nishumba had captured the kingdom of Indradev, which is the king of gods. And what did they do? So once they became the king of gods, they took away all the precious jewels and all other weapons which the gods had. So they were all in their possession. And then they want to covet the goddess. Now what happened? The bearers of Shumba and Nishumba told their master, look, you have everything with you. In your kingdom, you have captured the gods, you have all the weapons and all the jewels, the best among the gems are with you in your possession. But there is somebody who's much more beautiful. You might not have seen, they use the word woman, she's the best among everything. She's so beautiful. You must possess her. They use this word possess. Now, who does Chanda and Munda represent? They represent lust and greed. Now what happens? Then Shumba and Nishumba then tell them, go bring her to me. And if she refuses to come, drag her by her hair, So these are the kind of things they do. So what do they think? That women can be objectified. They can possess whatever they want. So lust and greed, makes us do those kind of evil acts. And our thoughts become evil. Why? Because we allow the demon within us to rise. So what is very important? We have to first destroy this lust and greed within us. So what does the Devi do? She kills them and she has to use different methods to destroy them. Destroy in the sense, kill them. Now, how do you overcome the lust and greed within us? That is the first question you need to ask yourself and understand. When the greed comes in, you can't think in the normal sense because your greed is voracious. It is insatiable. So what do you need to do? First is you need to understand what is due to you is anyway going to come to you. You need not run after things. You need not run after material possessions. Everything will come to you with the grace of God alone. This is the strength you have to have. This is the faith which in God you need to build. And most important, what is the point in coveting these things? You need to reason out within yourself. Because you have to come to the understanding that none of these material possessions is ever going to give you happiness. Ask the question yourself. See, we put a lot of effort, we earn the money, we buy a house. Imagine tomorrow the same property which you have invested in ends up coming up in a litigation, or because of the property you have, fight in your family between your siblings. Then where is that happiness? You bought that house so that you can live happily. But does happiness ever stay with you? No, not with those material possessions. And tomorrow say the property is in a litigation, then you can't even live there. The court puts a stay order saying, no, now this is under litigation. You can't live there. And then the case goes on. Or your siblings are fighting. They are fighting with each other. So the same property has turned into misery for you. Now, how do you overcome this? So that is where you have to understand there is no point in coveting these possessions in our life. What comes with the will of the God is all that you have to be very happy with. You have to be contented with. So the most important lesson for you to practice is contentment and living in the present. Don't go back in the past. Don't think about what is happening to my future, because man gets carried away with the insecurities that are there in life, the life's uncertainties. They don't know what is the future going to be. So we are always trying to think, I am going to have a secured life. I am investing so that my retirement can be good. I don't have to depend on my children. I don't have to depend on anybody. So you are investing. You're trying to, create a retirement plan. And then what happens? The same plan goes to a toss. Man proposes, God disposes. You don't know what the future holds for you. So why have to we bother about it? There's a beautiful scripture called Guru Charitra. And in that, Dattatreya teaches us about his 24 principal gurus. And in that, one guru, is the bird. The bird lives for this present moment. Like we have to live. An example, what he gives is, we have to live in the present moment. So there's an example of pigeon also. That's more attachment to the family. I'm not talking about that. So we have to live a life like a bird. We have to fend for ourselves just for today. We don't have to look at for the future. And also he gives a very beautiful example of a python. The python is not going and searching for food. It stays in its place. When it is hungry, there is a animal which it can eat comes along the way. So it eats that animal, it gets satisfied and it stays in its place. It's not running after to, search for food. Whereas man, we're constantly greedy. We want to, get better and better. And our desires don't end at all. There is no limit. It keeps growing. If you fulfill one desire, then the next comes up. Then if you fulfill the next, then the next comes up. So it is a continuous process. So you're never going to be satisfied with your life at all. So what is the point in living this life, which is completely filled with misery and sufferings? And imagine every month you have to pay those EMIs, you have those payment plans. When your salary comes, all the bill payments has to happen. So whatever you earn, your expenses are double than that. So no matter how much increment you keep getting, you're never going to be satisfied at all. You're never going to be contented with it at all. So the most important thing for you to understand is, the less, the better. The less is more. This is the truth. And we don't understand this truth. We look at people and we get carried away. You know what we see? And that's called an illusion. You know what you see? Look, that person is so rich. That person has a lot of money. Means that person is very happy. No, that's your way of looking at it. It is your perception. You can't live in that other person's shoes even for a day. Means you can't live that other person's life. You don't know the kind of sufferings that the person is going through. We all get very carried away by what we see, what we hear, the perceptions that we form based on our mind's judgment. So understanding the truth is very important. So you have to destroy this lust and greed. That's number one. Then Shumba and Nishumba. So when they grow within you, why? Because the greed is growing, the lust is growing. This Horatius, the strength in evil doings also grow. And they want to covet everything. They want to possess everything, and they go to whatever means to achieving that. Then there is no right and wrong. You will work out all sorts of wrong means. That is why they're saying strength in evil doings. You're not going to feel bad that you're doing something wrong, because your mind gets taken over. Because the strength is in evil doing. So what does Shumba say? Yes, it's fine. Everybody does it. This is how the mind will reason out. Even though your innermost being, the Lord, the divinity within you will say, don't do this. This is wrong. This is not correct. But you know what? That innermost voice is covered. It gets clouded. You can't even hear. And remember, all the asuras are very active. And then it says, that's fine. The whole world is like this. You are not exception. You can do it. So the mind reasons out with you. And then you will say, oh, I have to I have to feed my family. I have to fulfill their desires. So I have to do this. You justify within yourself that action is right. That evil doing becomes a norm for you after that. And then what happens? You end up becoming demonic in nature. And if you make one mistake, it says, yeah, now it's fine. It's okay. It's one more time. The mind will reason out with you. It's okay. You can, do it this once more. There's no harm. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your children. You're doing it for your family. These are the kind of the things that the mind is going to reason out. And it is okay for you to do these things. So the evil doing, the strength, it's getting stronger and stronger within us. And then what happens? You end up in that demonic path, unrighteous path. You start following that unrighteous path, then you go into adharma. So that is what happens. And then what does Nishumba do? He's a pride. Oh, look, pride in evil doings. Look, I was able to achieve this. That's not nice. But this is what is happening. Are you seeing people around? So many people fall in this prey. You should never get into that. So stop yourself. And then you know what it does? It will not allow you to rise. See, it wants easy way out. See, when you do evil things, it comes easy. Anything which you have to achieve on the path of dharma requires tremendous amount of effort. Arduous effort is required. And you have to work very hard. You have to follow the path of dharma. It is not so easy. But the evil path is very easy. See, understand, what comes easily goes away easily too. So what is the point in taking that path? You have to reason out with yourself. And then also understand, what is Shumba going to say? It's a strength in evil doing. And sometimes when you are being put on that path, which is going to be following the path of dharma, the righteousness, then it will say, oh, you have to go study this, you have to work hard, you have to get knowledge. When you are being told this, the first word comes out is, I don't know. I have never done this. Then what are you doing? You're destroying you're empowering the demon within you, but you're, destroying the goddess. You're actually killing the gods within you. You're not allowing the goddess to rise. Why? Because you're saying, I don't know. I can't study. So who's rising in you? The demon. That knowledge you are covering. The ignorance is getting covered over and over again. Every negation of yours, you're covering that knowledge from within. You're not allowing that goddess to shine. You're not allowing that knowledge to come out. Your capabilities to come out. You're, suppressing it. It's never going to come out at all. So I don't know, and it is impossible. I can't do this. I'm not capable. On the contrary, you have so many capabilities, God-given potencies, abilities, capabilities, everything is within you, but you will not want to do it. That self-effort doesn't come out, because who is ruling? The tamas is ruling you. That is also Mahishasur, Shumba and Nishumba. They don't want to do. They will not allow you to do. And then the next thing is, when you are being cornered and when you are being pushed, saying now do. Your Gurudev is going to tell you, stop giving these negatives. Stop telling, I don't know. Go and do it. So when you are being cornered and when you are, said, why are you behaving like this? So when the Guru, it's not a reprimand, but he tries to pull you out of this demonic disposition, that evil which is taken over, the demons within you. So he's trying to remove you out of that. And then what do you do? What do you say? You become a martyr. You'll say, oh, the whole world is bad to me. I am being treated very badly. So that comes in you. So you have to refrain yourself from going through this motions of evil emotions. It's also emotions because it's playing havoc in your mind. Where is the mind? Head to toe. So the entire body is only listening and acting according to the demon, the demonic disposition within us. So stop, refrain yourself from doing this. Don't go into that. And one most important demon whom we learned about, the Rakta Beach, the thought, the evil thoughts. If one wrong thought comes in, do not allow your mind to dwell on that. Why? Because it gives rise to n number of evil thoughts. And then it completely takes over. And you can't stop the thoughts. That is why you have been taught in spirituality, always take the name of the Divine Lord. You have to be your good self. Consciously you have to practice. And you have to put in arduous amount of effort. See, evil beings, they want everything easy. So they will always try to find shortcuts. Say, understand one thing in life. There is no shortcut to success. You have to work your way up the ladders. You have to work really hard. You have to put in a lot of effort. You have to learn the most important rule, the foundation of anything on the path to achieving success. First is getting the right knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Once you build the knowledge, then next is having all the tools that is required. You need all the weapons. You saw how many weapons Devi has. She has all the right weapons because you need to kill the enemy. Then going in the right direction. And most important is application of knowledge. Having knowledge alone is not going to help us. You need to apply that knowledge, and that has to come from you. That effort, that is called the self effort. Consciously you have to make an effort every single day to work within yourself, destroy all these demons. See, the demons have immortality. They will raise their ugly heads when you least expect it. You can't even imagine when they will rise up. And then you'll suddenly wonder, what is happening to me? Why am I feeling this? Have you felt many a time, oh, today I'm feeling very lazy. I don't feel like I want to just sleep. My body is not allowing me to work. Tamas, without your knowledge, Mahishasura has overtaken. And you don't know why this has happened. So the Shumba and Nishumbha are the strength in the evil doings and pride in the evil doings. So refrain yourself from doing anything which is adharma and which is not on the path of righteousness. So with that, we will now begin with the chapter 12. So episode 3, chapter 12. The goddess said, whoever with concentration praises me constantly with these lords, I shall without doubt put an end to all his troubles. Whoever extols my deeds relating to the destruction of Madhu and Kaitaba, the killing of Mahishasura, and likewise the slaughter of Shumba and Nishumbha. Whoever with one pointed mind listens and with devotion to my glories sung in this Mahatmyam on the 8th, 14th and 9th days of the lunar fortnight. To them nothing bad happens. Neither misfortunes arising out of the bad happenings, no poverty is faced by them, nor separation from the near and dear ones. No fear comes to them from foes, robbers, or even from kings, neither from weapons, fire, and floods. Therefore, this, my Mahatmyam, should be recited by those of concentrated mind and listened to constantly with devotion. Now, what is the most important thing? Listen to it constantly. Now you understand why every year we have to celebrate all these festivals? Because we have to keep this practice ongoing. It is not one time. Just because we learned Devi Mahatmyam in 9 days, 7 days, we killed all the demons, doesn't mean you have overcome. It is just teaching us how do we understand, recognize these demons within us, the evil propensities that are there within us, and how do you overcome them? How do you fight? With all the God-given capabilities and all the gods and goddesses, everybody are within us only. You have to empower this Devi within you. And that is what we are learning. And this knowledge has to be constant. See what happens once we finish learning, we go back in our material world and then get lost in that material worldly existence. We don't understand what is going on. We are not able to comprehend. We get so lost and get carried away in the world of Maya. It doesn't allow us to see the truth. And we get very clouded. And then the doubts come in your mind. See, all these doubts and everything that comes in your mind is nothing but the demons acting upon you. And you also need to understand, when you are on the path of spirituality, the demons are going to be very strong. You know why? Because they don't want to evolve. They don't want you to evolve and attain God realization. Because then they can't, rule you. They lose the control. So they're always trying to put the obstacles, create those evil thoughts. So you have to be very vigilant and careful. That is why we say you have to be, awareness is very important. Paying attention to the thoughts that goes on means not dwelling on it. You have to catch hold of it and not dwell on it and just kill it. Don't allow that evil thought to grow within you. Because one evil thought can lead you to series of evil thoughts and then you fall down. Falling off the path is very easy, but rising above is very difficult. Do you see? We learned how many weapons does the Devi uses to kill these demons. She had to use different weapons and they keep taking different forms. Tomorrow, as we end the Devi Mahatmyam, that's the 13th chapter, I will recap, once again all the demons that we have killed so far. So you need to recognize this constantly and consciously make an effort. Always chant the name of the goddess. And what is she saying? I am always here to protect you. But what is it important? That you have to constantly, with devotion, listen with a concentrated mind. That is why we do this scripture every year. The celebration happens. We invoke her. We then, fight these demons. We say, Ma, please help us. Overcome these demons within us who are creating an obstacle on our path of spiritual, development. We have to evolve on the path of spirituality, and they are causing us they're creating a lot of havoc and they're putting a lot of obstacles. So we have to destroy that. And also, most important, even in your material world, if you need to do anything and follow the righteous path, you need to be very good with yourself. These demons will not allow you to, follow a disciplined way of life. They're always going to put obstacles. So that is what you have to overcome and live a God-pleasing life. So what is she saying here? Therefore, this, my Mahatmyam, should be recited by those of concentrated mind and listened to constantly with devotion. It is the sublime and supreme way to welfare. So everything that we learn, every scripture, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Devi Mahatmyam, Tripura Rahasyam, Guru Charitra, all this is giving you the same knowledge. And most important, who is the guiding light here? Who is the master, who is the one who's going to help us go ahead? And that is our Gurudev. So without a Guru, you can't attain God realization. Guru is the doorway to God. Only the Guru has the power to remove your ignorance through the knowledge, the light of knowledge. So what is the Guru doing to you? He's giving you this knowledge about the truth and what you need to do and how you need to overcome all of the tendencies, vrittis, the vasanas, and also perform nishkama karma, which is selfless action, so that you don't create more karmas in this life of yours, so that your future lives can be better and best. This Mahatmyam will alleviate all sufferings due to epidemic like smallpox as well as the threefold portents. I shall never leave the abode where this Mahatmyam is well recited constantly. My standing presence is there. When offerings are made in worship, in rituals with fire and on great festive occasions, this, my Mahatmyam, should be completely recited and listened to. I shall accept with satisfaction the offering, the worship and the fire ritual thus done, whether so done knowingly or unknowingly. Even if you do unknowingly, that grace of the goddess is always with you. During the time of the great worship done in the autumnal season as well as in the beginning of the year, by hearing this, my Mahatmyam with devotion, man by my grace is released from all sufferings and acquires wealth and corn. There is no doubt. Listening to this, my Mahatmyam, to the auspicious manifestations and to my prowess in battles, man becomes fearless. So what is the first word of spirituality on the path of divine, which is on the path of dharma? That is called absolute fearlessness. You don't have to be afraid of anybody or anything in this world. Why? Because you are seeking the truth. There is nothing to be afraid about. Nothing at all in this world. We are so full of fear. Fear of, oh, what is going to happen to me? My family, I don't have a job, I don't have money, I'm going to die, I have sickness, whatever, everything. We are so afraid, fearful of everything in our world. I don't know what people are going to talk. This is the greatest fear is, what? Oh, I am in spiritual, but how can I tell the people around? They might, have some judgment on me. But why are you bothered? My Guruji said something very beautiful. Rajma, please understand that, when you tell someone that you're in spiritual and those people look at you with some weird way, they kind of passing on judgments. But he said, you're on the righteous path. You're actually, you're saying the truth. Truth is the word here. And there's nothing to hide about. You're not a hypocrite, but the world looks at you like that. And it is their problem, not yours. So whatever you do, we have to be very good. And there is nothing to be afraid of. And when you say you're spiritual, you're not doing a crime. You're learning the good things in life, which so far nobody in this universe has taught you. Not even your parents, your school, your teachers, your family, your acquaintance, and your workplace. Nobody has given you this knowledge. And this knowledge is coming. You know how powerful it is? And you have to be very proud about it. Why are you feeling small? This is what you need to understand. You are on the path of truth. You are going towards a beautiful, the path. You have a fantastic goal. And what is the goal? God realization. And that doesn't mean you have given up your material world. You're doing something wrong. No, you're seeking the truth. What is the harm in seeking God? Which has to be the goal of every human being, every human body. That is why we have been given this birth. But 99.99% people don't do that. They don't want it. because they are very much lost in the world of Maya. And with grace, when you have the grace of this Guru and you have a Guru in your life, the real master, then isn't it a fantastic thing? You're the most luckiest one. Feel how lucky you are, because only you've got this opportunity. So you have to take that opportunity, make the best of it, and learn and attain God's realization. And most important, serve the mission for why you are here. Serve his mission. God's mission is very important. Serve the purpose of your existence. That is why we have this birth, and we have to make the best use of this human birth that we have got with his blessings alone. To the men who listen to my Mahatmyam, the enemies are destroyed and welfare is produced. Their families rejoice. My Mahatmyam should be listened to in all alleviation rites on seeing a bad dream and when great afflictions arise due to planetary positions. Troubles subside and also the terrible affliction of planets. The bad dream seen by men turns out to be a good dream. It tranquilizes the effect of maladies in children caused by certain obsessions. It is the best means of re-establishing the links of friendship amongst men where there occurs a break in relationships. So one of the most important lessons, what did I teach when we were learning about Rakta Beach? See, we have enmity with a lot of people. There's a lot of hard ones. We have so many different issues with relationships. And one of the most important quality, the divine disposition, is that you have enmity to none. And who says this? Krishna Bhagwan has taught us in Bhagavad Gita. Here also, what is the God is telling us? We don't have to have enmity with anybody. We have to cut asunder. We have to gulp that. Gulp what? The blood. Remember the bitterness. We have to destroy it. And forgive. Forgiveness is godliness. Forgiving is very important. And please understand, nobody's telling you, oh, you have to make friends with a snake. You understand that person has a poisonous nature. But stay away. Just see God in him. Everybody has God in them. See, the demons are acting in them. Now you have the knowledge. Understanding this truth, you can just stay away. But you don't have to have that enmity. You know why? Because you're then getting into a karmic bondage with that person. You have to come and repay the debt. In the next life, that person has to become you and you have to become that person. So there's always a debt that is associated. And then this cycle continues. Why do you want to get into that? So destroy, kill all these enemies, kill these demons. You don't have to have any enmity with anyone. It's most important. All you need is love power. And love is the greatest power, the weapon, the best weapon in this planet Earth. There's nothing greater than love. Love melts everything. Love wins. That is why Krishna Bhagwan, who is he? He's a personification of all love. He's a supreme love. He's an ocean of love. Athanga Sagar, limitless ocean, unconditional love. That is what we have to become. That is who we are. We have forgotten our natural state. We are so lost in this body and its afflictions and its vasanas and tendencies from our past lives and in this whatever we have acquired in this current life too. So kill all of them. Most important, have goodness at heart. Become divine. Becoming divine is most important. First you have to become good. Goodness is sattva guna, quality of sattva. So first become good and then you rise to becoming divine. It destroys most effectively the strength of evildoers without exception. Demons, goblins and ghosts perish at the mere reading of this. How beautiful. This Mahatmyam of mine in its entirety evokes my presence. What satisfaction I shall derive by worship day and night for full year with these aids, viz. Animal for the offering, flowers, costly incense, best scents, lamps, feeding the Brahmins, fire rituals, sacramental sprinkling of water, various other objects of enjoyment and gifts. The same satisfaction I shall get by reciting or listening to this once. So what is more important? What is Devi pleased with? Reciting and listening to this Mahatmyam is very important. How beautiful. You all have been very devotedly listening. Ma's blessing is all with you. That is what we want. Her presence is there. Where this Devi Mahatmyam Parayan is read, she is very much present when you listen and when you recite. That is when you read. Hearing removes the sins and grants freedom from illness. The recital of my manifestations afford protection from evil spirits. If my deeds of demolishing the wicked asuras in the battles are heard, people will have no fear of of their enemies. So what is she saying? You don't have to be afraid of whatever your enemies are doing. Please understand. There's somebody, the final authority is called the God. The God is here. She will take charge and she is going to do she's going to give what is due to them. Means if somebody is doing wrong, my Guruji has always taught this beautiful lesson. Just do Krishna Arpan. You don't have to behave or react in the same manner. We don't have to think wrong about them. The most important lesson, if other people do anything wrong or harm to you, please understand it is their problem, not yours. We are not here to behave in the same manner, exactly like them. And if we do, then what is the difference between you and them? There is no difference. So don't do that. You know what you should do? Just say, I submit, I surrender to you. Divine, whatever the God is, God, you want to name. Krishna Bhagwan, I surrender to you. You take charge. So he responds. You don't have to bother. You don't have to get into that. All you need to do is forgive and forget. Surrender. Krishna Arpanam. That's all is required. Then the Divine Lord takes charge. Then you don't get into a karmic debt with anybody. This is the truth. And that is why forgiveness is very important. And we don't have to have our heartburns. We don't have to think, oh, this person said to me like this. Oh, this person did this to me. You're living in that misery all along. And what is that we are carrying? That animosity, that enmity, that bitterness. And someday that's going to burst out. And it's not good either for you or that other person. But if you care about your spiritual upliftment, so you better be very good. You have to let go of all these things. We don't need to get into anybody's, books. We don't want to be there. We want to stay away like Krishna Bhagwan, living like a lotus leaf with the water untouched. That is what you have to become, detached from everything. Whatever happens, do Krishna Arpan, because you know what? The goddess is going to take care. She very beautifully says, right? If my deeds of demolishing the wicked asuras in battles are heard, people will have no fear of doings of their enemies. So you don't have to fear anything. What your enemy is doing, oh, something bad is going to happen to me, I'm going to suffer. Nothing. You don't have to, bother at all. Next, let the lords made by you, those made by the divine seers, and those others made by Brahma give auspiciousness in thought. So what is the most important? Good thoughts, auspiciousness in thoughts. So what is she saying? Let this, whatever that you have learned, now make your thoughts beautiful, divine. So because all the evil thoughts are gone, see how powerful it is. That is the blessing she's giving. You know why? Because you have to evolve on the path of spirituality. It is your upliftment that she cares about. In a forest, on a lone path, or surrounded by a forest fire, or encircled by robbers, or else seized by enemies in a desolate place, or in a jungle, pursued by lion, tiger, or wild elephants, or else on the command of an irate king, thrown into prison or sentenced to death, or caught in a boat tossed by winds on the high seas, or else facing the volley of arrows in an intense terrific battle, or in the midst of all kinds of terrible troubles or afflicted with pain. Remembering this, my Charita, a man gets out of straits. So no trouble comes to you, no matter what trouble you are in, just remembering this Charita, remembering these lessons itself, you will get out of it. So there's nothing to fear at all. By my power, animals like lions, robbers, and enemies flee at a distance from one who remembers my Charitra. So just mere remembering all of these things, the evil thoughts fly away. So what doesn't rise in you? The evil, the demons don't rise in you. This is the truth. The sage said. Having said this, the great Chandika of fierce prowess vanished there itself, even as all the gods were gazing at her. How beautiful. Their enemies having been destroyed, the gods, relieved of uncertainty in their minds, began to enjoy their shares in sacrifices and wield their authority as before. When in battle, Shumba, the enemy of gods and the afflictor of the world, as well as the great fierce Nishumba of unparalleled prowess and high valor, are slain by the goddess, the remaining asuras entered the nether worlds. O king, thus the goddess Bhagavati, though eternal, manifesting herself again and again, carries out the protection of the world. This universe is deluded by her, and it is she who gives birth to the universe. Entreated, she grants supreme knowledge, and gratified, she confers prosperity. Master of men, all this cosmos lit, Brahma's egg is pervaded by the great goddess in the form of Mahakali and Mahamari. At one time, she is Mahamari, she, the unborn, becomes the creation. At another time, and also she, the eternal, attends to the preservation of beings at the appropriate time. So she manifests based on what is the need of the hour. During the time of having, she is verily Lakshmi for men, granting growth and prosperity in the house. At the time of not having, she herself is a Lakshmi and brings about ruin. So you have to always be good. We have to always, what do? We want Lakshmi to come, not a Lakshmi. So you have to always be very good and nice and kind, compassionate, following all the divine propensities, giving, caring, and most important, being your good self. Lauded and worshipped with flowers, fragrance, incense, etc., she confers wealth, offsprings, and an auspicious mind bent on dharma. This is the most beautiful one. What does she confer? She confers an auspicious mind, a pure mind, which is always going to be following the path of dharma alone. It will never think of doing anything adharmic. This is the truth. So this is the blessing which the Devi has conferred on us and all the gods. Here ends the 12th of Devi Mahatmyam in the Markandeya Purana during the period of Shavarni, the Manu. So with this, we have completed the episode 3 and chapter 12. Thank you once again for joining the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. Have a good day and good evening to you all. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri, and especially today is the Ashtami. Once again, a very happy celebrations. God bless.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Rajmu.